Hi, my name's Melissa Palmer, and I'm the program coordinator for the Graduate Accounting program here at UT Dallas. This section is designed to give you information on the CPA exam and an overview of what it takes to go through the licensing process. This information is not all-encompassing, but I want to give you some detail because we have such a large number of students who plan to take the CPA exam. The first thing you need to think about is, do you need to take the CPA exam? Think about your career path, your personal goals, and any other considerations before you undertake the CPA exam. It takes a lot of time, a lot of studying, a lot of money to get your CPA license. So make sure that you've done your research before you go down this path. There are lots of certifications available to accountants, and on the screen you can see a number of those, the certification, who grants that certification, and the website where you can find additional information. I can't emphasize enough, it's important that you begin with the end in mind. Think about where you want to be in 18 months or 24 months when you finish this degree plan. What are your goals? What type of jobs do you want to be considered for? Are there internships you need to be looking at? And which of these certifications, if any, are necessary to get you to that next step? It's important to do this research so that you know when you get to the end of this journey, you're going to be right where you want to be. On this slide, you'll see the different sections of the CPA exam, a little bit about the topics that are covered, the test design, and then the accounting classes that correspond to that particular section of the exam. If you're planning to take the CPA exam, I encourage you to take a look at the courses that are recommended. These are the classes you want to take in order to get prepared for each of these sections. So as you're planning, you need to be thinking about what you need in order to meet the requirements of the degree. And then what are the courses that you need in order to get yourself ready to not just sit for the CPA exam, but also to pass it. The licensing process is different depending on the state that you use, that you live in. Texas has specific requirements for who's eligible to sit for the exam, but again, it varies state by state. However, the exam that you take is a national exam, so no matter what state you use in the U.S. to sit for the exam, to qualify for the exam that you take is exactly the same. The path to being able to call yourself a CPA and have the CPA license, regardless of the state you use, requires the completion of 3 distinct events. The first one is your education. Every state has education requirements that have to be met before you can sit for the CPA exam. Second is the exam itself. Again, no matter what state you choose, you take the same exam, and the exam is physically administered in a testing center. So you don't have to leave Texas, you don't have to leave Dallas in order to take the CPA exam, regardless of the state that you use. Once you have passed all 4 sections of the CPA exam, then there's a work experience requirement. And again, this varies some from state to state, and so we encourage you to do some research and look at the work experience requirements for whatever state you happen to choose. In Texas, the education requirements to sit for the CPA exam include 150 college credit hours. Of those, 30 need to be upper-level accounting hours. That means 300 and 400 level courses that you took as an undergraduate, as well as any graduate accounting courses. Included within that is also a research requirement. Here at UT Dallas, you can meet that requirement when you take both audit and individual tax, or you can choose to take a tax research class. You also have to have 24 business hours. These are made up of several different disciplines, but your business hours must include 2 hours of accounting communications. And lastly, you need an ethics course. You can't sit for the exam until you meet all of these requirements for education. Now, some of you, because of your backgrounds, may not be able to meet these Texas requirements, so that's why you'll hear us talking sometimes about other states that have easier education requirements to be able to sit for the exam. But again, you have to do your research and know what you're doing before you get started. Online hours, I want to mention that you are limited. Out of those 30 accounting hours required, only 15, no more than 15, can be online credit hours. Also, if you are working to get up to that 150 college hours and you already have a bachelor's degree, you can only do that at a four-year institution or at certain approved community colleges. The closest one to UT Dallas is Mountain View Community College, and they have approved accounting classes, and you can go there to get some extra hours if you want to. And we can talk more about details once you're at UT Dallas as well. This slide shows you some of the steps to becoming a CPA in Texas. The first step for Texas is your application of intent. We encourage students to do this application of intent sooner rather than later in their educational experience. This application of intent is submitted, and the Texas State Board will then look at all of your transcripts, compare what you have to what the requirements are, and send you back what's called a deficiency letter, where they will actually list out what you still need in order to be eligible to sit for the exam. It's a great planning document. It's a great thing to have done before you actually get a lot of coursework under your belt, so that you know the classes you're taking are exactly what you need in order to get eligible to sit for the exam. Once you meet all of those requirements and you submit your additional transcripts to them, at that point you'll get what's called an approval notice, and you'll be ready to go on to the next step, which is your eligibility application. As you can see, it's a pretty detailed process to becoming a CPA, but well worth the time and effort. Here are some helpful links where you can do some of the research about the exam. The AICPA.org website has a lot of information about becoming a CPA. The Texas State Board of Public Accountancy gives you detailed information on the application of intent and the rules for becoming a CPA. There's also a link here for NASBA, which is the National Association of State Boards of Accountancy. If you think that another state might work better for you, this is a website where you can look at all of the states and see what their eligibility requirements are to see if another state might work better for you. And finally, our contact information. If you have detailed questions and would like to meet with an advisor, any of us are happy to sit and talk with you about your particular situation and answer any questions that you may have. Thank you so much for your time.